Welcome back. Please like, share the video, and subscribe to the channel. Welcome back to Tech Talk Today, everyone. Jamie, have you been keeping up with all the news about AI lately? It's everywhere, and the debate about how to manage it is getting really intense.
Absolutely, Alex. It feels like every day there's a new development, and the regulatory side is definitely heating up. We've got some big news about artificial intelligence, and more importantly, who gets to make the rules for it.
Exactly. So, President Trump just issued an executive order this past Thursday, December 12th, and it's a game changer for the tech world. The main purpose? To significantly limit state-level regulations on AI.
Right. This is a huge deal, and it's being seen as a major win for U.S. big tech firms like OpenAI, Google, Microsoft, Anthropic, and Meta. They've been actively lobbying against extensive AI regulations, you know?
You got it. These companies argue that state-specific regulations could create enormous hurdles. Think about it. If every state has different laws, it could really impede innovation and the widespread deployment of new AI technologies across various industries. It's a logistical nightmare, right?
Totally. Wedbush analyst Dan Ives even described this order as a major win for these firms. He emphasized its role in streamlining the regulatory process and, crucially, helping America maintain its dominance in the global AI race against foreign adversaries. It's about staying competitive.
Precisely. But here's the flip side. This executive order comes at a time when numerous states have either passed or are currently drafting new AI legislation. So there's a real push from states to set their own guardrails.
Yeah, exactly. Take New York, for instance. They had a proposed Responsible Artificial Intelligence Safety and Education, or RAISE Act. It was intended to be this really expansive state-level AI regulation, but it was reportedly scaled back by the governor on the very same day as President Trump's order. Talk about timing.
Wow. That really underscores how much states want to establish their own rules around AI development and deployment. But now, President Trump's executive order is expected to set up a massive collision course with these states, and potentially even some members of his own party.
Absolutely. States have already indicated they intend to sue if the administration tries to override their laws. So we're looking at a burgeoning legal and political battle here over where the appropriate level of AI regulation in the U.S. should actually sit.
It's fascinating, isn't it? On one hand, the order removes some of the uncertainty for future AI infrastructure development and deployment, which has been a major overhang for the tech industry. They finally have a more centralized approval source.
Right. But on the other hand, it kicks off this huge power struggle between federal and state governments. It's definitely a story we'll be following closely. Who knew AI regulation would get this dramatic?
Never a dull moment, Jamie. Welcome back to the Daily Pulse. Jamie, we've got some really big news coming out of the Supreme Court this week, don't we?
We absolutely do, Alex. It's been quite a week, with the Supreme Court handing President Trump and Republicans some major political victories through several key decisions. It's definitely shaking things up.
Wow. Let's dive right in. One of the biggest rulings involves those Texas congressional maps, right?
Exactly. The court cleared the way for a new congressional map in Texas. This map was drawn with the explicit goal of helping the Republican Party gain up to 5 House seats.
So, just to clarify for our listeners, redistricting is basically how they draw the lines for voting districts. And this decision, it sounds like it could really impact the balance of power in Congress.
It absolutely could, especially with the 2026 midterm elections on the horizon. Both parties are always trying to get an electoral advantage through these maps, and this is a significant win for Republicans.
Right. And then there's another really major development. The Supreme Court's conservative majority seems ready to expand presidential control over independent federal agencies. What does that mean for President Trump?
This is a huge one. It signals support for President Trump's ability to dismiss board members from these agencies more easily. Traditionally, there have been limits on this power, designed to keep these agencies making decisions without direct political pressure.
So, if they fully overturn this older rule, President Trump could have a lot more authority over parts of the government that used to operate quite independently.
Precisely, Alex. It gives the president significantly more power over a segment of the federal government that has historically had a degree of independence.
That's a massive shift. And finally, the court also looked at money in politics, specifically lifting limits on how much political parties can spend with candidates.
Yes, Republican leaders are strongly advocating for these limits to be removed. They argue that the current rules restrict their free speech rights and put them at a disadvantage compared to outside groups like super PACs.
So, if these limits are lifted, we could see even more money flowing directly from political parties into campaigns.
That's right. It could fundamentally reshape how money flows through political campaigns and potentially increase the influence of political parties in elections. So huge implications all around.
Absolutely. From electoral maps to presidential power and campaign finance, the Supreme Court has certainly delivered some substantial decisions this week, clearly favoring President Trump and the Republicans.
No doubt about it, Alex. A really impactful week for American politics.
Hey, Jamie, ever wonder who truly gets the final say when it comes to sending troops into battle?
Oh, absolutely, Alex. It's one of those big questions, right? Usually we think of the president as the commander-in-chief.
Exactly. But there's a huge story breaking that's really shaking things up on that front. Congress has just made a major move to curb President Trump's power to start military operations.
Wow, that sounds significant. So what's prompting this change now?
Well, it comes after some recent events. President Trump ordered missile strikes in the Caribbean and has been talking about regime change in Venezuela. These actions have clearly made Congress take notice.
Right, so it's a direct response to current military actions. And I hear this isn't just a small change, but a seismic shift in U.S. foreign policy. Is that true?
Absolutely, Jamie. This isn't just a standalone bill. It's incorporated into a much larger military spending bill that dictates Pentagon policy. The House of Representatives passed it with a really strong vote, 312 to 112. Now it's heading to the Senate.
That's a powerful bipartisan statement. What exactly does the bill do to limit the president's power?
The key part is that it repeals two really old legal justifications for military force, called Authorizations for the Use of Military Force, or AUMFs. One is from 1991, for the Persian Gulf War, and another from 2002, before the Iraq War.
Ah, the AUMFs. I remember hearing about those. So these are old laws that basically gave presidents a lot of freedom to use force without coming back to Congress every time?
Precisely. Both Democratic and Republican presidents have used them over the years, but now Representative Gregory Meeks, a Democrat, said keeping them invites presidents to drag us into reckless foreign wars.
Makes sense. It's about preventing future conflicts, not just reacting to current ones. And what's interesting is that President Trump himself is expected to sign this bill into law, despite his administration's recent military actions.
That's the fascinating twist, isn't it? It shows how much momentum this idea has. And it's not just about war powers. The overall bill is over 3,000 pages, includes $900 billion in military spending, and even gives military personnel a 3.8% pay raise.
So it's a huge package dealing with defense overall, but with a very critical element about presidential authority. It sounds like Congress is really trying to reassert its role in foreign policy.
Absolutely. It's a huge reevaluation of how the U.S. makes decisions about military engagement. A true game changer, I think.
Welcome to Future Forward. Jamie, AI creating Disney characters? Sounds wild, right?
Alex, it really does, but it's actually happening. This week's news is huge for entertainment.
Absolutely. Disney, the storytelling giant, just announced a massive $1 billion partnership with OpenAI.
Wow, $1 billion. So what exactly does this mean for Disney fans like us?
It's exciting. OpenAI's Sora will create short fan-inspired videos using over 200 iconic characters from Disney, Pixar, Marvel, and Star Wars.
That's incredible. So imagine a fan creating a short video with their favorite Marvel hero powered by AI. That's a whole new level of engagement.
Exactly. Blending Disney storytelling with OpenAI's video tech. The videos can include costumes and vehicles, but importantly, no real actors' faces or voices.
That's a smart move, respecting the performers. So beyond these cool fan videos, what else is part of this $1 billion deal?
A lot. Disney's investing $1 billion into OpenAI, showing belief in AI's future. They'll use OpenAI's APIs for new tools and interactive elements for Disney+.
So maybe more personalized content or new ways to interact with shows on Disney+? That's really thinking ahead. And I heard something about internal use too.
You're right. Disney employees will also get access to ChatGPT features. This will help them with their daily work and make operations smoother behind the scenes.
That's fascinating. It really covers everything, from fan interaction to internal efficiency. What did CEO Robert Iger say about all this?
He highlighted that technological innovation has continually shaped entertainment. He sees AI as crucial, allowing Disney to thoughtfully and responsibly extend our storytelling.
That's a very positive outlook. It sounds like Disney is embracing the future, making sure they stay at the forefront of entertainment, but also doing it carefully.
Exactly.
It's not just about cool tech, it's about using it wisely. This partnership really marks a new era for how we might experience stories.
Definitely. It'll be amazing to see how this unfolds over the next few years. Thanks for breaking it down for us, Alex.
Welcome back to Tech Talk Today. Jamie, have you ever imagined a world where robots aren't just in movies, but actually helping discover new cures? The UK government just took a monumental step towards that.
Not exactly robots doing homework, Alex, but something even more transformative. We're talking about a massive new partnership between the UK government and Google DeepMind. The big goal is to put Britain at the forefront of artificial intelligence innovation.
Wow, that's huge news. So what does this strategic collaboration actually mean for British scientists?
It's fantastic for them. British researchers will get priority access to DeepMind's cutting-edge AI models. Think Alpha Genome, designed for complex scientific analysis and generating new theories. Plus, they're establishing the UK's very first automated research lab.
An automated lab? AI and robotics working together to conduct experiments? That's truly sci-fi coming to life. What will this lab focus on first?
Exactly. Initially, it's about superconducting materials, which carry electricity with zero resistance. But the future applications are broad: medical imaging, next-generation computer chips, transport, and clean energy like fusion. The potential for discovery is immense.
Incredible. And this partnership extends beyond just scientific research, right? I heard AI is also making its way into education and public services.
You're right, Alex. DeepMind is creating a special version of Gemini, their powerful AI, specifically to support teachers. It will be curriculum-based and rigorously tested for safe use. And for government, Gemini for Government is planned to reduce administrative workloads and automate routine tasks. This really shows how governments worldwide, from the UK to even President Trump's administration, are using AI to improve efficiency.
That's smart. Freeing up civil servants means better service delivery. But with all this advanced AI, what about safety and security?
That's a cornerstone, Alex. The partnership emphasizes collaboration with the UK's AI Security Institute. Their focus will be on foundational research into AI safety, risk mitigation, and responsible development. Demis Hassabis, DeepMind CEO, said AI has incredible potential to drive a new era of scientific discovery and improve everyday life.
Absolutely. So it sounds like a comprehensive national strategy, harnessing AI for huge economic and societal benefits while also very carefully addressing inherent risks. A truly exciting and well-rounded development.
Definitely. It's a bold step for the UK, and we'll be watching closely to see what amazing discoveries come out of it.
Welcome back to Money Talk Express, everyone. I'm Alex, and I'm feeling optimistic today.
And I'm Jamie. You know why, Alex? Because we have some truly exciting news for anyone out there thinking about their biggest investment, their home.
Exactly, Jamie. We're talking about U.S. mortgage rates, and guess what? They've been on a fantastic downhill slide throughout 2025, and they just took another significant dive.
That's right. This latest drop happened right after the Federal Reserve's final interest rate cut of the year, which was on December 12th. It's a huge, huge shift from those really high rates we saw at the start of the decade. Remember those days?
Oh, I do, Jamie. It makes a world of difference. This means it's a much more favorable environment for prospective homebuyers, people looking to buy their first home or maybe upgrade.
And also for those who want to refinance their existing mortgage, to get a lower monthly payment. Imagine the savings.
Wow, that's a game changer for many households. What's even better is that the Fed, along with its chairman Jerome Powell, has given us clear hints about more rate cuts coming in 2026.
Absolutely. This kind of clear guidance really helps lenders and creates an expectation of continued improvements in the mortgage market. It's not just a one-off thing.
Right. And for our listeners, the Federal Reserve also took another important step. They've been buying short-term government bonds. This helps keep pressure off the overnight lending markets, which are super important for the stability of our entire financial system.
Exactly. Now, on a related note, we did have some government shutdowns recently. The CBO, the Congressional Budget Office, estimated an $11 billion permanent loss from those. Quite small in the grand scheme of the economy under President Trump, I'd say.
Agreed. But a bigger headache, to be honest, was the delay in getting out crucial economic data, like our Q3 GDP report. That really left us guessing for a bit.
You're absolutely right, Alex. Still, even with those data delays, Fed surveys and private reports were pointing to a bit of softness in the labor market. That definitely played a part in the Fed's decision to cut rates this December.
So looking ahead to 2026, the outlook seems pretty constructive for various markets. We're expecting leadership from sectors like technology, materials, and even Canadian financials.
And while bond markets had an amazing 2025 with big returns, 2026 might be more about steady income rather than huge price jumps.
Overall, though, with these consistently lower mortgage rates throughout 2025, the housing market is really set up for a potential resurgence. Affordability is improving for a much wider range of borrowers.
Fantastic news all around. Keep an eye on those rates, everyone.
Hey, Jamie, ready to talk money? Because for many homeowners, especially in Australia, things are looking a bit pricier.
Absolutely, Alex. And with everything happening globally, even with President Trump navigating the U.S. economy, it seems like local markets everywhere are feeling the ripple effect. Let's dive into what's happening down under.
You got it. So, big news from one of Australia's major banks, Westpac. They've just increased their fixed home loan rates. Not a little bump either, up to 0.35 percentage points.
Wow, that's a significant jump. And it's actually the second time in just over a month they've done this. It means their lowest fixed rate is now 5.49%. For our listeners, a fixed rate means your interest rate stays the same for a set period, usually a few years.
Exactly. And this isn't just Westpac being Westpac. This reflects a bigger trend in the Australian financial market. The main driver? Inflation concerns and the growing anticipation of a cash rate hike from the Reserve Bank of Australia, or RBA, next year.
Right. The RBA has confirmed a rate hike could be on the cards for 2026. And it's not just Westpac. We've seen other lenders like St. George, Bank of Melbourne, ING, and HSBC also pushing their fixed rates up.
Which tells us the mortgage market is tightening. Jamie, it's pretty startling. Just a month ago, 43 lenders offered fixed rates below 5%. Now, that number is down to just 29. That's a huge drop.
It really is, Alex. It signals that the market is definitely bracing for higher borrowing costs. Even economists from major banks like CBA, NAB, and ANZ are revising their forecasts. They're not expecting any more rate cuts, and many are warning a hike is a real possibility, perhaps as early as February 2026.
So in short, if you're looking at a home loan or your fixed rate is ending, prepare for potentially higher repayments. It's definitely a space to watch very closely.
Absolutely. Keep an eye on those interest rates, everyone.
Welcome to EcoSpeak. Jamie, have you seen the new research from Duke University on plastic waste? It's really eye-opening.
I have, Alex, and the numbers are shocking. Plastic waste is costing society $400 million to $1 trillion annually. That's a massive financial burden.
It truly is. And this isn't just about litter cleanup. This study, published December 12, 2025, focuses on the downstream consequences of plastic throughout society.
Right. Beyond visible trash, it includes microplastics contaminating drinking water, severe harm to wildlife and fisheries, clogged stormwater systems, and degrading our soils and coastlines.
Exactly. Plus, lost economic productivity. It shifts how we view plastic from a nuisance to a multi-billion-dollar drain on public health and local economies.
Absolutely. With costs this high, it highlights the need for serious policy attention, from local councils up to President Trump's administration.
You're right, Jamie. The problem is deeply embedded. Researchers are using sensors inside plastic bottles to track litter's movement, aiming for better mitigation.
Wow, that's smart. The health concerns really struck me. Duke research from 2023 linked nanoplastics to a brain protein associated with Parkinson's and some forms of dementia.
Other studies connect ingested microplastics to inflammatory bowel disease and hormone disruption. It's not just environmental, it's directly impacting human health.
Exactly. Nancy Lauer from Duke stressed that understanding these known costs is vital for informed decision-making and public policy.
So the study reinforces what we know, putting a huge price tag on it and urging collective action.
Which means starting with us. Individual choices like using reusables and reducing our plastic consumption are key. Every little effort counts.
Absolutely. Let's all commit to cutting down on single-use plastics. Thanks for tuning in, everyone.
Thanks, Alex.
Welcome back to Global Insights, everyone. Today, Jamie, we're diving into some really important news from the Philippines. It's about a critical step towards protecting children.
That's right, Alex. It's truly a landmark move. On December 12, 2025, the Philippines officially launched its National Action Plan to End Child, Early, and Forced Marriages and Unions, or NAP-CEFMU for short. This plan covers 2025 to 2028.
Wow, that's a multi-year commitment. So what exactly does this plan aim to do?
Well, it's comprehensive. It outlines strategic measures to prevent child marriage, enhance protection services for children at risk, and address those deep-rooted social norms that allow this harmful practice to continue. It particularly affects young girls.
Exactly. It's not just about a law, but changing mindsets. I heard the launch event brought together a lot of different groups, too.
Absolutely. National and local government officials, youth advocates, various development partners. It really shows a broad collaborative approach. It's a whole-of-government and whole-of-society approach, as CWC Executive Director Angelo Tapalis put it.
That's a strong commitment. And this plan is actually crucial for putting an existing law into practice, right?
Yes, exactly. It's essential for actualizing Republic Act 11596, which was signed back in 2021 and criminalizes child marriage. So while the law is there, this action plan helps with the actual enforcement and building community support. DSWD Secretary Rex Gatchalian also reaffirmed their dedication to this.
So it's about translating legal protections into real-life safety for children. And UNICEF is involved, I believe.
Yes, UNICEF Philippines representative Kyung-Sun Kim emphasized that child marriage is a fundamental violation of human rights. She said it robs girls of their childhood, their health, and their agency. The plan aims to bridge that gap between legal protection and the harsh realities many vulnerable girls face.
That's a powerful statement. It really highlights the human cost.
It does. And to make this real on the ground, some local governments like Brooks Point, Catbalogan City, and Socorro have signed agreements to adopt a systems-based approach. UNICEF is supporting them with better referral mechanisms and integrating child protection at the community level.
That's fantastic to hear. Real action at the local level. It sounds like the Philippines is truly stepping up its efforts to safeguard its most vulnerable children.
Absolutely, Alex. It's a significant step forward in ensuring a brighter, safer future for all children in the Philippines. We'll be keeping an eye on their progress.
Indeed. A really positive development. Thanks for bringing us this news, Jamie.
My pleasure, Alex.
Welcome back to Global Pulse, everyone. Today, Jamie, we're diving into some pretty serious news that just came out from the University of Rhode Island.
That's right, Alex. The 2025 Global Rights Project, or GRIP report, paints a concerning picture. It basically says global human rights are in decline, and honestly, it's a bit grim.
Grim's one word for it. The report highlights that state-committed atrocities, like human rights violations by governments, hit an all-time high in 2022. That's a shocking statistic, isn't it?
Absolutely. And what's particularly worrying, is the report suggests this is happening alongside a lack of public demand for human rights. It's like people aren't pushing back enough.
Exactly. And it's not just about physical atrocities. The report also talks about a rise in digital oppression. Governments are using surveillance and legal pressure to silence journalists and citizens online.
Yeah, it's really like something out of a dystopian novel. Skip Mark, one of the report's authors, even warned we could be heading towards a world that looks like George Orwell's 1984, with not just censorship, but a complete erasure of privacy.
Wow, that's a stark warning. The idea that everything you do online could be monitored, and if you're critical of the government, they'll find ways to make your life difficult. That's terrifying.
It truly is. And here in the United States, the report found something pretty striking too. Nearly 2/3 of Americans surveyed couldn't accurately define human rights. A quarter gave incorrect answers.
That's a huge gap in understanding, right? How can citizens advocate for their rights or hold leaders accountable if they don't even know what those rights are?
Precisely. The report argues that democracy works best when citizens punish officials for violating rights. So if we don't know our rights, leaders can act with fewer consequences. It really makes you think about accountability, especially when we see so much discussion around our current leaders, like President Trump and the decisions they make.
Absolutely. It underscores the urgent need for greater public awareness and advocacy, both globally and right here at home. A lot to think about today, Jamie.
Indeed. Let's hope this report sparks some much-needed conversations.
Hey, everyone, and welcome back to Global Insights. I'm Alex.
And I'm Jamie. Alex, have you checked the air quality forecast lately? Today's news about India really brings the global pollution issue home.
You know, Jamie, it's true. India's air pollution crisis is alarming, but there's a hopeful sign.
Their parliament is finally having a serious discussion about it.
Right. This is huge. The Lok Sabha, their lower house, is preparing for a crucial debate. It's a major agenda item.
Exactly. The leader of the opposition, Rahul Gandhi, formally brought this up, calling it a national challenge.
Wow, so the opposition is pushing for this. What's promising is that the government, through Minister Kiren Rijiju, confirmed they're ready to discuss it. That's bipartisan willingness.
Absolutely. When both sides engage, there's real potential for action. Gandhi hopes the discussion goes beyond politics to concrete solutions.
That's the dream, putting public health first. We're talking about a health emergency affecting millions due to hazardous air.
Exactly. It impacts daily life, so this Lok Sabha debate is a vital platform for lawmakers to explore strategies.
What kind of strategies?
The article mentions regulatory measures, technological solutions, and public awareness campaigns. A comprehensive approach is needed.
Makes sense. And Speaker Om Birla's involvement, discussing with both sides, shows how high a priority this is becoming.
Right. It really emphasizes the urgency. This commitment from both the ruling party and opposition offers hope for a national strategy to improve air quality.
So, despite the serious problem, there's a glimmer of hope that India might be taking a big step towards helping its citizens breathe easier.
Let's hope so, Jamie. Collaborative action is definitely the way forward for this critical issue.
Jamie, have you been following the big news for American farmers this week? It's quite significant.
Absolutely, Alex. It's been a major topic, especially President Trump's new announcement. It sounds like a real shot in the arm for a vital sector.
Right. We're talking about a substantial $12 billion aid package specifically for farmers grappling with tough times.
It really is. This package provides crucial financial relief to farmers grappling with shifting trade policies and rising costs.
Exactly. The big issue for many has been the trade disputes, particularly with China. Historically, China is the largest buyer of several American crops.
You know, when those new tariffs were put in place earlier, China actually halted some purchases in retaliation. Farmers, especially those growing soybeans, wheat, and rice, really felt the pinch.
Definitely. Even after a trade deal was reached, China's return to purchasing was much slower. This had a significant impact on revenue for farmers in key agricultural states like Pennsylvania.
And it's not just the trade wars. They've also been dealing with persistently low crop prices, plus high operational expenses, things like labor and fertilizer costing more and more.
So, this new $12 billion package aims to be a lifeline. President Trump unveiled it at a White House event with farmers, underscoring the administration's commitment.
A big chunk of it, $11 billion, is specifically for what they call row crops, those growers of soybeans, rice, and wheat we just mentioned. It's a targeted effort.
And good news for others too, right? The remaining $1 billion is allocated to producers of different crops not covered under this primary program, ensuring a broader reach of support.
Absolutely. It's worth noting this isn't the administration's first step. President Trump's tax and spending bill from July also injected billions into farmer support programs.
That's true. U.S. Representative Glenn Thompson, a Republican and chairman of the House Agriculture Committee, called this week's package a significant win for farmers, especially in regions like western Pennsylvania.
But he also made it clear that while it's a great start, there's still an ongoing need for additional support. His committee is actively working on critical updates to federal assistance legislation.
So it sounds like a crucial and timely step to support American agriculture, acknowledging the complex and ongoing challenges farmers face in today's global market.
Exactly. It's about ensuring stability for a vital industry and the livelihoods of so many families across the country. A really important development for our listeners to understand.
Absolutely. A positive and much-needed development indeed.
Welcome back, everyone, to Tech Talk Today. Jamie, I've got a headline that really made me stop and think this week.
Oh, do tell, Alex. I'm always ready for a good tech surprise. Or maybe even a debate.
Well, prepare yourself. Time magazine has just announced their Person of the Year for 2025. And get this, it's not a person in the traditional sense. They've named artificial intelligence as Person of the Year.
Wow. AI? That is absolutely fascinating. I mean, it's not human, obviously, but I can totally see why they made that choice. It feels like AI has been everywhere, truly shaping things, hasn't it?
Absolutely, Jamie. The article talks about its unprecedented impact and how it's profoundly reshaped work, technology, and society over just the past year.
It's really emerged from being a specialized niche field to a dominant force influencing global trends and daily life.
Right. It feels like every other news story or innovation we hear about now has some AI component. From new creative tools to incredible advancements in medicine and automation, it's genuinely transformative, for better or worse.
Exactly. And the magazine's cover story really dives into how AI has fundamentally altered the world, exploring its new and, quote, sometimes frightening ways of influence. That phrase really caught my eye.
Mine too. It's not all positive, right? When we talk about frightening ways, we're thinking about those ethical implications, aren't we? Things like potential job displacement, the spread of misinformation, or questions around bias and control. Those are very real worries people have.
Totally. The choice implicitly acknowledges those ongoing debates and societal discussions surrounding AI's future trajectory, but it also highlights the incredible technological prowess. They even interviewed key figures like Jensen Huang, the chief executive of NVIDIA, whose company's chips are powering so much of this current AI revolution.
Oh, Jensen Huang. He's a massive name in the industry, truly a visionary. And I saw they also spoke with prominent AI investors like Masayoshi Son from SoftBank. That really shows the significant capital and strategic interest now converging on AI development globally.
It does. It's not just about the tech itself. It's about the massive investment and the strategic shifts happening because of it. Time calling artificial intelligence Person of the Year truly underscores its undeniable status as a central defining force of our current era. It's a major moment of inflection.
It makes you wonder what 2026 will bring if AI is already at this level. Is this just the beginning?
I think so, Jamie. This really feels like just the opening chapter.
Fascinating stuff.
Hey everyone, and welcome back to News Simplified. I'm Alex.
And I'm Jamie. We've got some really significant news out of Georgia today, Alex. Literally big, as in over $1 billion big.
You got that right, Jamie. It was recently announced by Kristi Noem, the Secretary of Homeland Security, that more than $1 billion in federal funding is now accessible to communities and healthcare facilities across the state of Georgia.
Wow, $1 billion. That's a massive amount, isn't it? So this money is coming through FEMA, the Federal Emergency Management Agency, right? From their public assistance and hazard mitigation programs.
Exactly. It's really aimed at helping the state recover, repair vital public infrastructure, and, it clearly demonstrates President Trump's administration's commitment to streamlining assistance and ensuring accountability in disaster recovery.
And it's not just for fixing roads and bridges, which is often what people think of with disaster aid. A really substantial portion, $671 million specifically, is going directly to support Georgia's healthcare facilities.
That's fantastic to hear. So this funding helps cover essential costs like employing nurses and clinical care staff, ramping up sanitization efforts, procuring personal protective equipment, or PPE, and even supplying crucial testing materials, especially with the ongoing public health challenges like COVID-19.
Right. It truly highlights how vital that sustained federal commitment is to supporting our healthcare infrastructure and personnel, in the face of ongoing health issues.
Absolutely. But then there's also another big chunk. $350 million has been earmarked for recovery projects associated with past natural disasters, specifically Hurricane Helene and Tropical Storm Debby.
Oh, so like cleaning up and rebuilding after those big storms?
Precisely. About $140 million of that particular amount is for debris removal across numerous local areas. Then you've got $179 million for emergency protective measures implemented by local governments, electric cooperatives, and even universities. Plus, there's money to repair roads, bridges, and public utilities.
So it really is a comprehensive funding package, tackling both immediate recovery needs from natural disasters and bolstering the long-term resilience of Georgia's infrastructure and supporting healthcare. That's pretty impressive.
It truly is, Jamie. As Karen Evans, a senior official from FEMA, emphasized, Georgia communities are rebuilding stronger, and today's approvals show this administration's commitment to streamlining assistance and ensuring accountability. It's great to see that kind of direct support.
Definitely. It shows a clear focus from President Trump's administration on both public health preparedness and effective disaster response. A really positive step for Georgia, I think.
Absolutely. And that's all for today's News Simplified.
Thanks for joining us. We'll catch you next time.